Berenger Rose divorces Shane Cuthbert and takes out Advo in July. Berenger Rose officially divorced Shane. Furious, Shane launched an online smear campaign, posting derogatory content about her across his social media accounts to rally his followers against her. The harassment triggered an application for a new apprehended domestic violence order, ADVO, prohibiting Shane from posting images, videos, or negative commentary about Berenger. Shane Cuthbert was humiliated when Berenger Rose divorced him, so he started trying to turn his social media followers against her by posting defamatory comments about her online. As a result, an ADVO was taken out to protect Berenger from Shane Cuthbert's online harassment. Condition 7 prohibits him from publishing adverse comments about her. In an attempt to stall the proceedings, Shane submitted a nearly 400-page affidavit, filled with rants and red herrings, but failed to attend the court hearing. The ADVO was granted and made final in his absence. Despite the order, Shane continued to post negative content about Berenger on his website and social platforms, seemingly without consequence. Shane Cuthbert nominates himself for business awards. Shane began embedding himself in various community groups and nominating himself for committee positions. Many accepted him, believing his claims that he was a philanthropist who ran 2 charities. He soon began applying for a wide array of awards, business accolades, leadership recognition, even Young Australian of the Year. He used false credentials, including Stuart's identity, and supported his applications with photoshopped documents and fabricated bios. Astonishingly, many institutions failed to verify his claims and just took his word for it. Screenshot. After using his friends' identities without them knowing to register a fake charity, and then create a website that pretended to offer services to people affected by domestic violence, Shane used his friend's identity to nominate himself for leadership awards for running said fake charity, using forged documents providing false information. Most of the organizations running the awards never investigated anything beyond the evidence Shane provided them. He even made finalist in some competitions, despite none of it being real. Shane Cuthbert joins the Australian Labor Party, ALP. As part of his strategy to appear more accomplished online, Shane sought to build an ever-expanding list of fake achievements. With a desire for power and influence, he turned his focus to politics. Having failed to impress the far-right groups, who were generally more skeptical, he shifted toward left-leaning organizations, finding them easier to manipulate by exploiting their empathy and progressive ideals. Shane Cuthbert became buddies with everyone in the ALP by 2021. Shane had successfully infiltrated the Australian Labor Party, ALP. He was accepted as a volunteer during preparations for the 2022 federal election, and even befriended the ALP candidate for Leichhardt, Ella de Faith. He gained photo ops with her and other influential ALP members, using these to bolster his perceived credibility. Shane Cuthbert with Senator Nita Green and Ella de Faith, campaigning for the 2022 federal election in the seat of Leichhardt. Behind the scenes, Shane's manipulative behavior continued. He began trying to drive wedges between Ella de Faith, Senator Nita Green, and other volunteers. His desire for control didn't go unnoticed. Eventually, someone within the party searched his name online and discovered the 2016 A Current Affair expose. Once Senator Nita Green became aware of his background, she ordered Shane's removal from the party and instructed the team to sever ties. Around this time, Shane also enrolled in a law degree at Central Queensland University CQU. The previous members of the Student Law Society had all graduated. Shane saw it as an opportunity to join and, as the sole member, appoint himself to the role of president. Much like how he used to pose as a qualified landscaper while still a TAFE student, he now started telling people he was a lawyer. To support the ruse, he created fake letterheads and signed documents using post-nominal titles he hadn't earned. His next move was to erase all online traces of his criminal past. He began contacting websites that had published articles about the ACCA segment, initially claiming they put his life in danger. When that didn't work, he threatened legal action, bluffing that he would sue for defamation. Although these threats had no legal weight, most sites complied rather than risk an expensive legal fight, despite knowing they would likely win. Ultimately, Shane succeeded in getting all the Australian websites to remove their articles. He used this as proof that the stories were defamatory. What he didn't say was that several UK-based websites refused to comply, and those articles remain publicly accessible to this day. Shane Cuthbert sues the ALP. Shane launched a civil suit against the Australian Labor Party, ALP, forcing them to spend thousands on legal fees to defend themselves in the Supreme Court. He even convinced Frank Russo from Channel 7 News in Cairns to cover the story. When approached for comment, federal candidate Ella de Faith declined, likely too embarrassed to admit the party had failed to vet him properly. Her silence gave Shane free rein to control the narrative. To the cameras, Shane claimed his membership had been revoked over defamatory material that had since been removed, implying its removal was proof the claims were false. When asked why a Nazi flag appeared in the background of some of his YouTube videos, he feigned ignorance, saying, "It doesn't represent me as a person." Frank Russo bought Shane Cuthbert's story about being expelled from the Labour Party due to defamation as Shane had gotten rid of nearly all traces of the 2016 A Current Affair story. This became a familiar pattern. Once Shane successfully manipulated someone in a position of influence, they often chose silence over the humiliation of admitting they'd been conned. That silence allowed him to continue shaping public perception on his terms. The lawsuit dragged on into 2023. Shane lost, appealed, and lost again. Representing himself throughout, it cost him nothing. Although the court ordered him to pay the ALP's legal costs, Shane had no assets or income on paper beyond his Centrelink payments. The money he made trafficking guns and drugs was untraceable, with his assets, like the Range Rover he received from an outlaw motorcycle club, registered in his partner George's name. As a result, the ALP has never recovered a cent, and Shane still boasts about that fact whenever threatening others with legal action. Only a few months after Shane Cuthbert was kicked out of the ALP and banned from volunteering with Elida Faith, he managed to get into a position with the Australian Electoral Commission, where he was responsible for counting votes. Elida lost.